When Max Verstappen signed a 5-year contract extension in 2019 to keep him at the team till 2023, he was hot topic in Formula 1. There was a lot of teams after him. The young Dutch driver, soon to be world champion, was going to be hot property in Formula 1 and was set to exceed expectations in the sport for coming years. But Red Bull Racing kept a hold of him and have him signed until 2023. But something had to be added to the contract to basically make it the contract more enticable for Max Verstappen, hence the exit clause. Now, the exit clause was brought around by Dr. Helmut Marko and Christian Horner and can only be used for the last 2 years of Max's contract, so 2022 and 23. And it says that if Red Bull Racing are not competitive enough and the performance is not to the standard of Max Verstappen in his pursuit of going to win world championships and progressing in F1, he is free to leave the team. Now, he is contracted until 2023, and as we always say though, contracts are made to be broken. So I hope that Max Verstappen stays at Red Bull Racing, and I have no doubt that he will do in the future. A lot of people do. There's been a lot of talk about him going to Mercedes, going to Ferrari, challenging, and will he do better or worse at different teams? So I don't think this will happen, and this is only on the off chance. But here are my 5 reasons why Max Verstappen could trigger his exit clause with Red Bull and leave at the end of the 21 season. Now, back in October of 2020, Honda announced that they were going to be leaving Formula 1 at the end of the 2021 season, parting ways out of the sport and leaving Red Bull Racing and AlphaTauri, the 2 teams that they are now powering in F1. That was big news for Max, and that was definitely pushing him to trigger his exit clause, as the team was going to be without an engine and searching. And with a big championship contending team like Red Bull, they couldn't be afford to be wasting years and wasting time looking for an engine, and it was looking like Max was going to be leaving and going to go to another team. Of course, now Red Bull Racing have now bought the rights to the Honda engines and their IP performance for the next few years, and alongside Formula 1's engine freeze for the Austrian team, Red Bull Racing and Honda will continue until 2022. It is good news for Red Bull Racing and Honda, who stay in the team. The name stays in the team and the Honda engine stays in Red Bull. It's been an up and down season for Honda since they've been in the latter day Formula 1, of course, entering in Formula 1 2015 with McLaren. Very bad years with them. And then, of course, they went to Power Toro Rosso / AlphaTauri and then Red Bull Racing. It was good. And, of course, on Honda's side, they have a lot of eggs in Max's basket. Max took Honda's first win since Jens Button in 2004, winning in Austria 2020. Amongst the hot and humid Spielberg weather, he stood on top with the Honda executives, spraying champagne all over the badge, and it was a great thing to see. And, of course, the Honda name is staying. So that looks like Max was staying, and that wouldn't trigger the exit clause. That was something big in his contract about if there was no Honda engine, if there was no engine, no competitive engine, then he would definitely leave. Honda are staying as Red Bull have bought the rights. They will then develop the name, and of course Honda will supply the internal combustion engine, so it is good news for them. But there is other factors that might trigger Max to leave at the end of the season. In the exit clause, it is only stated that he will go to only championship teams, even though that doesn't really have to be stated. Of course, Max Verstappen, in his state of winning world championships, or wants to, of course, will want to only go to Mercedes, Ferrari, possibly even McLaren. But of course, Mercedes and Ferrari are the only 2 teams that it's stated that he will go to in the future if he does trigger the exit clause. So the first reason that I think he might do is if Red Bull Racing fall to 3rd or even lower in the Constructors. Now, of course, if they get to 1st place and become the 21 Constructors World Championship, that is absolutely amazing. But since 2014 and the change of the 1.6 litre V6 on the Constructor side, they've really played second best and only second best, not third best, to Mercedes. They've held 2nd place for many years in the Constructors. Of course, last year, even though they were over 300 points behind Mercedes, they had a very comfortable 2nd place and many, many hundreds of points above McLaren in 3rd. It was good to see Red Bull in 2nd place, of course, as I said, chasing it first, but 2nd is good. This year in 2021, if they finish in 2nd place, I do think Max will stay, and the team, himself and Sergio Perez, will be very happy with that. It isn't 1st, but it isn't 3rd, and they'll be very happy with that. As I say, that is a normal constructor position. If they fall to 3rd place, if they get overtaken by the likes of McLaren, Alpine, Aston Martin, even Ferrari, which is, you know, it could happen. I don't think it will. But if they fall to 3rd or even lower, even 3rd, will trigger Max to leave the team. Of course, for Mercedes, and okay, fine, Ferrari was added a few years ago when Ferrari were competitive, but 3rd place will just not cut it for Max. 1st place, of course, is what he's chasing, but 2nd place is, at least that's a good position for Red Bull. So any lower than 3rd, I definitely think Max will walk. The second reason why Max might leave Red Bull is being beaten by his teammate. Now, Max Verstappen has had an array of teammates over the years at Red Bull. He started off with Daniel Ricciardo, the multiple race winner and podium sitter from Australia. He got on well with him, but when he went to Renault, he had a bit of a hard time finding a good teammate. He had French driver Pierre Gasly, who claimed no wins and no podiums with Red Bull Racing and was quite fiercely demoted down to Toro Rosso / AlphaTauri. It has gone better for him, but his Red Bull time didn't go too well. He was then replaced by young Thai British driver Alex Albon, and even with a few podiums with that more competitive Red Bull engine, of course more happy with Alex being in the team, no wins came. He was then shifted back to third place driver, and he was replaced by multiple podium sitter and race winner Sergio Perez. Now, Sergio has had a good tenure in Formula 1 and he looks to be the good teammate for Max Verstappen and what Red Bull needs. Of course, Max is battling the likes of Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Charles Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel and other people on the grid, but there is no one better to beat than your teammate. He has had the upper hand on Pierre and Alex in a good few years of being the number one driver at the team, but it looks like Sergio Perez is going to bring more of a fight to the young Dutchman. If he's beaten by his teammate, I do definitely think that will push him out of the team. There is no one better to beat than your teammate, as he has all the resource that you have. If anything, Max has more resource than Sergio Perez, of course, being the number one driver, getting the pick on components, designing the chassis and things like that. And of course, he might be beaten by Seb, he might be beaten by Lewis, but if he's beaten by Sergio and his teammate, that's detrimental times a million and way worse than being beaten by Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, or worse, even Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. If he's beaten by Sergio and he has to play second fiddle to his teammate and in the team, of course, which he has signed for 2 more years to hopefully win the World Championship with, I think that will drive him out. The third reason from me is if he gets less than 6 podiums this year. Now, 6 podiums has basically just been a number that's been plucked out of thin air. The consistent thing about Max Verstappen this year was his podium positions. He only has 2 solitary wins in the 70-year anniversary Grand Prix and the final race at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But it's his podium consistency which has been a real good show this year and cementing himself in a good position in the Drivers' and Constructors' World Championship for Red Bull and of course drivers for himself. He's been on the podium many times, almost every single race this year, and more than normal he's been alongside the 2 Mercedes drivers of Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. If anything, he is the normality for Formula 1 as he actually brings back Mercedes and pulls them more down to earth and keeps the sport a bit more alive. But you can normally bank on Max Verstappen being on the podium. Max Verstappen is consistent on the podium, and really that's probably the best thing about him at the moment. He doesn't have the most wins, but he has a lot of podiums, and I say it gets him a lot of points and consistency in the team and gets them good results. So this year I feel like even if he doesn't get a race win, it won't drive him out, and that's why I haven't included if he doesn't get a race win, even though that will definitely push him to get better results and could possibly open this discussion up even more in the future. But I definitely think that if he does not get, I would say at least 6 or at least half of the races that he would do in this year on the podium, even on third place, is not going to be good for him. That means he won't be consistent podium wise, and he'll have been beaten by his 2020 results. He won't be improving. He could possibly be beaten by Sergio Perez's teammate in terms of podiums. He won't get the best result on drivers, and of course he won't get the best result for Red Bull in the constructors. I would say he needs to get more than 6 podiums, and if he doesn't get as many podiums, or if he doesn't get as many as even 2020's podium record for Max, that could look detrimental, and that could be a reason why he triggers the exit clause. The fourth reason I have is that we have been talking about Max Verstappen going to Mercedes and Ferrari since Max even entered Formula 1. The talk started back in 2016 when Jos Verstappen was in talks with all 3 teams about his young Dutch son driving for the teams. Mercedes and Ferrari were not interested, but of course Red Bull were, and that started the trading places where Daniel Kvyat was replaced by Max Verstappen, and Max came into the team at the Spanish Grand Prix. He won the race, and of course the rest, as they say, is history. But since then there's been a lot of talk in the media and by fellow YouTubers about Max going to different teams. But in real life, in Formula 1 terms, no talk has existed. Max Verstappen, Jos Verstappen, and no one from the Red Bull or Max Verstappen camp has even approached Mercedes or Ferrari, or even vice versa in the past. And maybe that's a big reason why Max Verstappen has never been in talks, or even committed, or even tried to commit, or anything towards Mercedes or Ferrari. In his mind, he probably isn't even connected to them in any way, and it's literally just this media talking about what if, and it won't happen. But this year could be a chance for Mercedes and Ferrari to evolve Matteo Binotto, or anyone from those two camps and those two teams, or even the other way around, Max Verstappen's camp approaching the teams. And there could be a possibility now where if there's actually dialogue behind the scenes in the paddock, say, there could be more dialogue and there could be more talk about Max going to one of those two teams in the future. I definitely think this year we are looking at a Mercedes trying to get Max on board, a Ferrari trying to get Max on board, even a McLaren trying to get Max on board. I really don't know, but I feel like there's going to be more talk and more dialogue in the paddock in 2021. Nothing like that's happened before, and maybe that's why Max has never looked at leaving, and that's maybe why he's pledged his allegiance to Red Bull Racing. It's not that he loves the team, it's just no one's ever approached him, and maybe he's never approached Mercedes or Ferrari or any other team in the future, and he's just stayed with Red Bull and focusing on what he has to do. I definitely think though, if one of those two teams does approach Max or the other way around and dialogue does start in the paddock, we could be seeing Max leaving the team, triggering his exit clause and going to Mercedes or Ferrari. And my fifth and final reason is that yet Red Bull Racing are using the right to the Honda engine, and of course the partnership will continue for the next few years as of the engine freeze, so that won't be triggered that they'll be leaving. But Max Verstappen will still be on the verge of looking to see if the Honda engine is going to be good enough in that Red Bull car. And at the end of this year, if they don't deliver in any way, shape or form, then Max could be leaving. Red Bull Racing Honda, of course, is a partnership for the next few years, but it doesn't mean that Red Bull will stay with Honda, it doesn't mean Honda will stay with Red Bull, and it doesn't mean that Max Verstappen will stay with Honda or Red Bull in the future. Again, I know this could be quite vague and this could just be him leaving the team, but if Honda are not seen to be a viable championship contender, Max could leave. When it comes to engine talks, Mercedes, of course, have Mercedes engines and Ferrari have Ferrari. Two viable engine suppliers that have an automotive brand behind both companies of Mercedes, AMG, Petronas and Scuderia Ferrari. Red Bull Racing, of course, are just a normal Formula 1 team using outside engines. And you never know, down the line in the next few months, in October, we could be back to where we were last year, where Honda pull out. We could be talking about Red Bull trying to find a brand new engine. So there we go, there are my views, there are my 5 reasons of why Max Verstappen might trigger his exit clause. Of course, I do hope that this does not happen. I'm a big Red Bull fan and I do like Max being at the team. Future world champions for sure, and of course battling, hopefully using the team as his team. Very much like Sebastian Vettel, the team is built around Max Verstappen, but Sergio is going to make it a hard task. And of course, with the exit clause and the different reasons why Max could leave, it is going to make it a challenging season for both Max to stay with Red Bull and of course Red Bull to stay with Max. And of course how the Honda engine is going to get on and managing with Red Bull Racing and Max. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about Max Verstappen. Will he leave the team? Where will he go? And what are your reasons to why Max might trigger his exit clause at the end of the 2021 season? Nevertheless, so we do hope that Max has a good season. I do think it will be fierce and it will be strongly contested at Red Bull Racing, but hopefully it has a positive outcome of Max staying at the team. Of course, said before, the exit clause only stated he would be at the top teams. When he signed it back in 2019, that was Mercedes and Ferrari. Ferrari are less so much now. Probably opening up chances to possibly go to McLaren, but I'd definitely say Mercedes and Ferrari, two top teams, are still on the table. Anyway guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about Max, and while you're down there, give me a subscribe, like the video and turn on the notification bell to be notified every time that I upload a video. I have so much more content coming for you guys throughout the 2021 season. It is going to be an amazing 71st edition of Formula 1. Hopefully Max can have a good season with Red Bull in this coming year. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching this video. We hope that we can see you again in the future. Stay safe, and until next time, I'll see you later.